common attitude toward laws these days is that it's perfectly acceptable to break a law. Perfectly acceptable. Many people will say there's nothing at all morally wrong with breaking a law, just so long as you don't get caught. It's okay. And some people will add to that that it's only morally okay if nobody is hurt when you break the law. And that's the modern attitude toward the law. Now, Christians, we can point to what Paul wrote in Galatians 3:25. We no longer need the law. We no longer need the law. Here's a more literal translation. It says, the law was our schoolmaster, but we are no longer under a schoolmaster. So as a result of this, there are people who believe they don't have to follow any moral laws at all, not even the Ten Commandments. Of course, I'm now going to explain why I disagree with that. Please note first, though, that Paul was not saying you don't have to follow any laws. Paul was talking specifically about faith in Christ, not the law of Moses, as being necessary for our salvation. Now, before science developed, people studied only individual phenomenon. They didn't know about the laws of the natural world. They had no idea that all things are connected. In the beginning, when God began to create, Genesis chapter 1 says that the earth was formless and empty. This universe of ours was born out of chaos, where every part of the universe was on its own course. There was no order at all, and there were no laws until God began to impose order on the creation through his laws. In this world of ours, if there were no natural laws, what would this world be like? The sun would rise at a different time every day, and it would move at a different speed in random directions. So today might be 4 hours long, and tomorrow might be 36 hours long. Yesterday, you washed your face in water. Today, you're allergic to water. Tomorrow, you're so light that you need to grab onto something heavy to stop you from floating away. So we can say, thank God for the laws of nature that give us order. These are laws that you are completely free to ignore. If you want to ignore them, that's fine. For most of human history, people have been ignorant of these laws. It doesn't matter whether you agree with these laws or you disagree with the laws. You believe them or you don't believe them. Whether you know they exist or you don't know they exist. But one thing you are not free to do is to break these laws. You're not free to break them. If you want to fly, some of you will understand this very well because you're engineers in the airplane industry. If you want to fly, you must obey the laws. If you break these laws, your plane will crash. And if you're in it, you might die. There are irrevocable laws of the physical universe. So, don't you suppose that there might be also laws of the spiritual universe? Paul talks about this in Romans chapter 8. And Paul says that anyone who breaks the spiritual laws will die. Will die. And this is what he's referring to in verse 6. He says, so, letting your sinful nature control your mind leads to death. But letting the Spirit control your mind leads to life and peace